Hey everybody, welcome back. This is the one and only Pop Culture Junkie. Thank you for tuning in to my Raw review for April 4th, 2016. We are 24 hours removed from Wrestlemania 32. We just ended Monday Night Raw this evening, and it was an interesting show, as always. If you're not familiar with WWF Monday Night Raw, the day after WrestleMania, they've always had interesting matches, interesting debuts, something always unique happens, and the crowd is always insanely entertaining on their own. So anyways, we had an interesting show with some good, some bad, some I don't know what is going on kind of moments. So we're going to recap everything, and then we can all share and discuss what we thought all this craziness is about. So let's start off first with the segments we had. Number one segment we had was a Vince McMahon, Shane McMahon segment at the very beginning of the show. They came out one at a time on the stage and just had it back and forth. And even though Shane lost, he was given the permission from Vince to run Raw for the night, just temporary. So Shane was in charge of Monday Night Raw. He never came back out and did any speeches or named a match out in the ring. Everything else was backstage. Our next segment of the night was the League of Nations. After they had their tag team title match against the New Day, they decided that Wade Barrett was the weak link of the team, and they got rid of Wade Barrett. They beat him up and sent him on his way. And then the lights went out, lights came back on, and Wyatt family was in the ring, and they attacked the League of Nations. So now we're going to have a feud with them, I guess. Then we had the Dawn of the Roman Empire segment. I saw a sign in the background. You probably saw it too. I loved it. It said, "Don't mute our voices. We pay for this." I thought that was one of the best signs for the night because they are. They're having the announcers talk over everything as much as possible. They're jamming the theme music for people like Roman Reigns to try to drown out the boos and the hate that he's getting. So, anyways, Roman comes out with the title belt because, as we know, he won the match at Mania in a very long, boring main event match. He says, "I'm not a bad guy, good guy, I'm the guy." And he issues an open challenge to whoever wants to fight him for the title. So AJ Styles, Y2J, Owens, and Sami Zayn all come out and they state their reasons. A brawl breaks out among all four of the contenders, and then Roman ends it by spearing Jericho out of nowhere. So that's how that segment ended. But then Shane McMahon did announce backstage that there will be a Fatal 4-Way match between Y2J, AJ Styles, Kevin Owens, and Sami Zayn for the number one contendership to fight Roman for the title. Then we had a lot of NXT debuts today. Okay, we had Baron Corbin make his Raw debut after winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal at WrestleMania. He had a match with Ziggler tonight. We had the Vaudevillians announce that they're going to be debuting on SmackDown, so there's another debut coming. We had NXT Enzo Amore and Big Cass come out and do a quick little promo back and forth with the Dudley Boys after the Dudley Boys had their tag team table match against the Usos. And then finally we had the Women's Championship segment where we had Charlotte along with all the other women wrestlers. That's right, women wrestlers. We're getting away from that D word. We're sticking with women wrestling. And the crowd kind of took control where they started chanting for Bayley. They did her theme song, and at one point they finally did come around to chanting "This is wrestling" whenever Charlotte was on the mic talking about this is the future of women's wrestling, and the crowd of course was like, yes, this is what we want women wrestling. We don't want diva cat fights. We want wrestling because people, that's what they want. That segment ended though with Natalya issuing a challenge to Charlotte for the title, and of course because it's Natalya from the Hart Foundation, Hart family, etc., and it's Charlotte, the daughter of Ric Flair. They have to go my family's better than your family, the Hart versus Flair stuff. I'm tired of this. We've seen this. We saw this way back in WCW. It's enough, okay? Charlotte and Natalya could have a match just between who's better, not because of the people that came way before them, okay? It's just been done too much. Alright, then we had a announcement that Dr. Phil is going to be guest on Raw next week. Why are we doing guest hosts or guests again like this? I don't know. So that was a few key segments that happened. Here are the list of matches that we saw. Opening match was Kofi Kingston and Big E against Wade Barrett and Sheamus. The match ended with Kofi and Big E getting the win, and then we had the segment where Barrett was kicked out of League of Nations, and then the Wyatts attacked League of Nations. Second match of the night was Sasha Banks versus Summer Rae. Banks statement, and that was it. It was a quick match just to reestablish Sasha as a top contender. Number 3 was Tyler Breeze against Apollo Crews, making his debut from NXT. Poor Tyler Breeze had to be the jobber for the night, and it was a squash match. It was just a highlight of Apollo's moves, and then he wins. Baron Corbin made his Raw debut from NXT by also winning the Andre the Giant Battle Royal last night at Mania. He made his Raw debut against Ziggler, who again was going to be a jobber, but the match ended in a double countout. We then had an IC title match. Zack Ryder came out to make an announcement and to just give a promo about winning the championship, how happy he is to be a Intercontinental Champion. I love the segment about him and Scott Hall, where when he was a little kid, he got to pose with Razor's Intercontinental title belt, and then last night he got to have Razor hold the belt and get a picture with him backstage. We noticed that Zack Ryder's dad was at ringside last night at Mania because he came into the ring to celebrate with his son. He was also at Raw this evening, and then we get The Miz coming out, and he gets Zack Ryder to defend the belt in a match, impromptu match. During the match, though, Maurice, former WWE diva, comes out and ends up distracting Ryder while interacting with his dad, and Miz hits the skull crushing finale and wins the Intercontinental title. So poor Zack Ryder gets a 24-hour Intercontinental title reign. They did announce there's going to be a rematch on SmackDown. Hopefully he can get it back. Then our next match was a table match, Dudley Boys versus the Usos. Now this was interesting because just like last night on the opening kickoff show, Usos did a double splash on the Dudleys through tables. Well, they set that thing up again tonight, except the Dudleys rolled out of the way and the Usos crashed through the tables. But when that happened, they rang the bell and Lillian announced the Dudleys as the winners. However, Bubba quickly grabbed an Uso, chunked him through a table that was in the corner, and then starts screaming at Lillian, "Now the match is over. What is wrong with you?" Of course, nobody put an Uso through a table, so why would the match be over? Just because they jumped and missed. I mean, hello, anybody ever seen Royal Rumble 2000? Look at how many times the Hardys and Dudleys put their own self through a table trying to put their opponent through a table, okay? That's how a table match ends. Alright, so our main event was Fatal 4-Way, Owens, AJ, and Y2J, not Sami Zayn. Sami Zayn was in a segment, backstage interview segment, and Owens attacked him, which caused him to not be part of the main event. Instead, we had a return mystery entrant, and it was the return of Cesaro, looking like the Transporter, is the best way I can compare it. He came out in a full suit and shades. As soon as he walked out, he rips off everything like it's a tearaway outfit, and he's wearing his normal trunks and boots and everything, but it was a really cool return. The crowd went nuts. The match, yes, match of the night, easily. These are the 4 guys that you want possibly against Roman if you're going to really stick with him as the champion for a little bit, because they're the ones that could actually get a good match out of him. And I say that by the other 4 being the entertainment part of the match, and then Roman just standing there. I mean, these are the 4 guys you're going to have to rely on. So the match went all over the place, lots of finishers out of everybody, lots of kickouts, lots of surprise moves and motions. And the surprise of the night, AJ Styles was the winner. AJ is your new #1 contender for the WWE World Heavyweight title. Very cool, but I have very little hope that he's actually going to get a shot to win the belt. He may just be the one that's going to, have a few matches with Roman to try to get something out of him. Obviously, similar to what Daniel Bryan did for him a year ago. Daniel Bryan gave him one of the best matches, if not the only great match Roman's ever had, and it was all because of Daniel Bryan. So, excellent match of the night, and I'm curious to see where they go from here. So, there you have it. That is our Monday Night Raw review. Hope you enjoyed Raw, and I hope you enjoyed Mania. If you did or didn't, please leave me some comments and feedback below. I want to know how you thought the shows went. If you happened to check out the NXT Dallas TakeOver show, make sure you leave some comments about that too, because that show is off the hook. Alright, so thanks for listening, thanks for watching, take care, and until next time, this is the Pop Culture Junkie saying, wrestling is still real to me.